Hello again. Alright, so now it's time for this one. So if we go to the Warren Report, there shouldn't be anything new, I wouldn't think. Just peoples and their stuff, so we find out she's held captive. Wait, what did it say for the age? Friggin' 19. For some reason I thought it was 18. Whatever. Then this guy's 58. You know, got his, like, 90-year-old friggin' geriatric look going on at 58, but whatever. But yeah, so he's getting old, getting on in years. People aged all crazy like back then. But alright, so let's go to Nadamsa. Now, here's the thing. There is an interesting thing you can do with this fight. I actually found out not too long ago. And, we'll see if we can pull it off here. So I need to put away someone, and I think that someone's going to be Sarah. So I want to have two healers for this. Thing is, more than damage, right now what's going to matter is essentially durability. So first off, this lady's funny. The Vendry, like the first thing, like, well, he wasn't much, but it was my dude. I don't know, I just love the dynamic between those two. Like, he gets killed off in his first, where he's like, my wife's gonna be mad at me. It's like, man, I can relate. That's awesome. But, okay, so here's the thing. Something they don't mention, actually you find this out after the fight. She's pregnant. So it's it's one of those, like, after the fact severely jacked up things that you notice. So what we're gonna do here, these guys are pretty crazy strong and everything, so we don't have to worry specifically about losing the fight. I'm pretty sure even if those two die, I'm pretty sure Sistina will join. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. I think it also might be that if one of them dies, she might not. You know what? There is a recruitment guide that Rake sent me. Almost like a reasonable person would go and look at that or something. It's almost like I have it saved on my friggin' desktop. Anyway, moving on. First off, let me drop a plume on Archer Face here, because I'm going to need her to take out as many units as possible. Now, let's see here. We are... Alright. Keep Bane alive through the battle, and he'll tell you afterwards about this one. Win the fight with them both as guests. Alright, tell her to join after winning the battle at Goliath and go to Bode. But it doesn't say anything if they die. I'm gonna assume that she's gonna join anyway. Hopefully that's the case. But anyway, so what has to be done here, I believe you have to get Vendry down to 10% health. And I think her other units have to be gone. But I'm not 100% sure on that. We're gonna try to do that, and I'm gonna try to get her to 10%. Hopefully neither Fulkert nor Bayan will get in the way of that little process. But we'll see how it goes. But to that end, I need to carve through these guys as much as possible. Especially that Griffin over there, and pretty much any kind of archers that they might have. Which they've got plenty of, because they've got the high ground. Man. Had a weird moment earlier today. For some reason, I always getting sent videos of, like, bizarre Star Wars memes and stuff. There's this this one in particular. There was this I don't even know what exactly you'd call it. It was just if somebody went and remade the entirety of the prequels using, like, horrible friggin' internet memes. It's as stupid as it sounds. So many friggin' high ground jokes in there. Because all things considered, it's kind of a stupid line. Not sure what they were thinking about it. Like, oh, got the high ground, despite the fact that both these guys can basically fly, and it doesn't really provide any actual advantage, all things considered. Because then wouldn't he just have access to slicing off your feet with this crazy laser thing? You know, have to consider. Oh well, I'm sure there's some weird explanation somewhere. Seems like there's an explanation for just about everything in those movies. Except for the new ones. The new ones seem to have a distinct lack of explanation and a distinct abundance of people pointing out the lack of said explanations. So they need to find out what happened with my brother-in-law. So, actually I think that's how that works. So let's see, my wife's sister's husband. Would he still be a brother-in-law? I don't know, I'm bad at family trees. But for the sake of convenience, we'll just assume that he is. But I know he was ridiculously hyped for the new movie, and all I've seen, looking through pretty much all the stuff there as soon as it came out, was just like, oh my god, everything's wrong forever. So naturally, you know, that's when you go to YouTube and secondhand watch the thing. Yeah, there were problems. We'll leave it at that. There were problems. A lot of them, in fact. But there was cool stuff, so there's that too. Yeah, final review of the movie. There were problems and there was cool stuff. That'll be a job as a critic any day now. You know, feel free to offer me that job. And I guarantee your ratings will tank. There we go. Alright. Funny thing, by the way. Now all of a sudden the overhead thing's fine. Wasn't before. It's not like I've actually changed any settings. It's just randomly temperamental. Right now I'm not too concerned about how piss-poor damage he's doing there. I want him to go around the right, start attacking their archers. So that's funny. There's this guy that I've been watching for quite a while that does challenges and whatnot of Dark Souls, like to the point where he has gone through, pretty much just gone through the main trilogy there. Well, let's see. Using no weapons whatsoever, using only consumables, like level 1 no weapons and stuff like that, like to the point where he's literally just doing 1 damage for 4 straight hours on a boss. Like, it's a hell of a thing to watch. By watch, I mean fast forward through, but it's amazing that that even happened. Like, one of the fights there was Artorias with fire bombs. So he's there with maxed out all the fire bombs, pretty much. And I think he ends up winning the fight with, like, maybe 10 of them left after starting with several hundred. And it's just the slowest thing ever, because he's there dodging some 70 attacks in a row before finally getting a chance to chuck one of them. I think it was like a 6-hour-long video or something. Oh, man. That was something. Oh, man. Need to do this game using only consumable bombs. Oh, that'd be something. It actually would be impossible, because you can't actually get them in the first level store, if I'm not mistaken. Although that might be an opportunity for doing some New Game Plus trickery. We'll see. Basically, if this run succeeds, the next one is... well, there's essentially 2 that are planned. The first one is going to be a pacifist run, just to see... pretty much if the in-game counter won't count it properly, so can immediately throw that hope out the window, but as far as all things go, you can still, you know, do a pacifist run. It just won't tell you there have been no kills. The option would be more or less, like at the start, you have to do a very particular setup, in order to be able to recruit both people and lizards. And then from there, you have to go and... well... how is that exact setup? It was pretty much just like before level 5, you're able to recruit everything is potentially around. So recruit fights take pretty much forever. Did not make sense to attack that guy with a shield. But what this results in is that you can usually recruit about 60 to 70% of people. I don't know how exactly... the main question, I guess, being asked by that run is how exactly that ends up affecting the Chaos Frame. Because I think you do get some manner of score in that regard when it's, you know, when it comes to somebody joining you from that side. So what exactly results when pretty much everybody you've ever fought decided to join you? I mean, does it kind of just like turn into friggin' Sudoku at that point? Just all your enemies are just there in the castle? I mean, I know you can recruit at least some of the enemies. I've heard you can recruit quite a few of them. Just recently was watching a thing in which somebody had a whole bunch of the boss characters with them, so... I mean, that's presumably there. But who knows? Alright, that whip guy's getting annoying. But yeah, no, the second run will be... oh, that is a problem. Okay, he needs to be evac'd. Well, actually, no, he's gonna stay on the ground. I want him to get points, but he was kind of a big part of my strategy. Alright. As dumb as this seems, I actually do have a strategy in mind here. Pretty much the idea was to essentially use him to lure her onto a wall here. Essentially just use the guaranteed crit to knock her off the wall, so that we can, you know, control how much damage she gets. But such is not to be the case, and as a result, we will now just proceed with wild firing in her direction. Oh well. Best laid plans of man and potato. Such things are just simply not to be. But yeah, so now to finally end my rant about it, finally finished off Sudoku 2 earlier today. Man, that was an interesting one. Okay. Comparing the way that the two stories are told, and I think it is fair to compare the two, because this came out on the SNES, that came out on the PS1, and generally this came out first. So it's funny because they're basically, in my opinion anyway, almost like Eastern and Western takes on pretty much a very similar story. Because a lot of them end up hitting the same beats, and yeah, I was ranting on this earlier too, but just, I'm pretty much going to leave it at that. You know, they hit a lot of the same beats, including, you know, the fight that you'd expect to be having at the very end of the game happening far earlier than that. Essentially kind of going on a weird tangent for a while and then having your actual ending. That kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I wonder if there was any relevance between the two Rinders. Maybe. I honestly would not be terribly surprised if that turned out to be the case. Wait, can you just ruinate her or something? There we go. Like, in general, the writing in this one is going to be pretty noticeably better, not to mention the translation's far better. But yeah, no, it's... really, there's nothing else to say about it. It's interesting. Which is actually why it was going to be another run that's coming up pretty soon here. Yeah, I found out it has a challenge mod. So, of course, gotta Iron Man that crap. I'm pretty sure it's gonna end one part in, but whatever. Such is life. Oh, it's a new year now. It's now 2018. Hopefully you're having a good new year. I thought he had a 126 and had 128. Why are you doing strange things, game? I don't know. No, Josian became an archer for pirates. Yeah, there we go. That's where she mentions it. So she wants to get revenge, but it's at this point that I understand in the original, there was a bit of an outcry that you couldn't save her in that one, which is why you can in this one. As I understand it, they actually had pretty much gone pretty heavily into development already. We're probably pretty close to being finished when they started going through and collecting all kinds of fan feedback and all that, which, once again, I understand is how they probably wound up with a lot of their weird MMO stuff. Because the Japanese community was really heavily into MMOs at that point, if I'm remembering the timing right. And just in general, that kind of stuff is, you know, gonna be... those kinds of mechanics are gonna be more popular over there anyway. Like, despite the fact that this game and series is more about trench warfare and that kind of thing, like, you just... either you completely outmaneuver the other guy or you wind up with a situation that you know, pretty much can't control. And you have to slowly slog through. You know, it feels like a lot of those same mechanics are... Okay. There we go, so she gave up. The fight's over. There we go. Thank you. Exactly. So she mentions the kid, and we're like, no. No, this is not okay. Just... Exactly. Exactly. It was life or death, welcome to war. He started it. Well, she's about to be conflicted forever. But yeah, there we go. You got the happy ending. One of the very few happy endings you can actually get. And really, that's one of the things I love about this game more than anything else. Just the fact that there are happy endings, but the odds of you encountering them are fairly low. And fairly involved in everything else. There we go. She got dragged out of that place. It's like, yeah, guys, are we done pissing about? Can we leave? We got a war to attend to? Despite the fact that not too long ago, she's like, no, we should just take a boat and leave forever. And she's like, no, we gotta take this boat and do some war stuff. Time to go to the ghetto fort. I love the term fastness. Yeah. She's all angry and stuff. You can tell because she's the red one. And also, the one that probably... well... dresses questionably. So it's funny, but how they designed the sisters in this one. They... like this one specifically. I guess we don't have all four yet, and we only have the two of them. Like, this one's supposed to be the fast one, but they're all meek and whatever. So, you know, they're all covered up and everything. This one's supposed to be the aggressive and fiery one, so... they've got, like, a sort of Spanish-looking thing going on, like short shorts. They've got the one that became a priest, so she's mostly covered up, but inexplicably forgot the pants were a thing. And then they got the last one that's supposed to be, like, I guess... not the evil one, per se, but just, like... they're gonna do whatever it takes kind of one. That seems to be... extraordinarily lacking pants. Welcome to Tactics Ogre Pants Review. But yeah, no. It's interesting how that goes. Okay, so these two, still useless for now. What I'm gonna do, when there's a little bit more of a break, I'm probably gonna go and grind these guys up in Tynemouth. I have archers that are pretty competent at this point. Actually, no, I said I wouldn't do that off whatever. We'll toss in a few extra fights somewhere. For this next one, it's barely a fight with the 3 guests, because you still get your same party one way or another. And then, like, if you're... it's funny, because it's the same fight in any route. But, if you're going there on Law, it's just basically you and your party. It sucks as a fight. In this one, you get the potential to recruit these 3 as guests, and it is just... it's a cakewalk. You've got some extra levels from your trip over there. You've got 3, unique characters, which, granted, they're a slight improvement. That's their whole thing. So let's see, RT-102. I'm kind of curious how he compares with Wolfston. Yeah, RT-103. So, he's not that much faster, but he's slightly faster still. Bayan, I believe he hits harder, and I know that Stina is just faster. Also, they robbed her of her ring, too, the bastards. Always stealing their rings. Still can't believe I never noticed that little detail. I just thought it was like one of those random old game carryovers. But no. Alright, nothing new here, and... there we go. So Darza did not have a good time. It's funny that their portrait never includes those wings, but they're so fancy. They should have really zoomed out the Valkyrie's profile. Wow. Okay. Unintentional pun there. But yeah, life was spared. But no, it's just kind of cool to see the little wing things. They look like an angry Russian lady otherwise. That was the one specifically that I think just looks very much like every other angry Russian lady I've ever seen. Any darn ways. That'll be that for now. Have a good one.